All right, good morning, everyone. John Berman here. A seismic tremor in morning television with an impact that will reach way beyond television. Today's show co-anchor Matt Lauer fired by NBC News. Just moments before the show went to air this morning, NBC announced it made the move for what the network calls inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace. Anchors seem just as stunned as the rest of us.
All we can say is that we are heartbroken. I'm heartbroken for Matt. He is my dear, dear friend and my partner, and he is beloved by many, many people here. And I'm heartbroken for the brave colleague who came forward to tell her story, and any other women who have their own stories to tell. And we are grappling with a dilemma that so many people have faced these past few weeks. How do you reconcile your love for someone with the revelation that they have behaved badly? And I don't know the answer to that.
All right, CNN's chief media correspondent, host of Reliable Sources, Brian Stelter, joins me now. Brian, what do we know? What are the facts here?
We know that on Monday night, a complaint was made to NBC News, and within 24 hours, Lauer was fired. He has a contract worth tens of millions of dollars a year. That's because the Today Show makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year for NBC. But the network clearly found convincing evidence that something improper had happened, and that's why it took this action. Here's part of the memo from NBC News chairman Andy Lack, who's meeting with staff as we speak. Quote, on Monday night, we received a detailed complaint from a colleague about inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace by Matt Lauer. It represented, after serious review, a clear violation of our company's standards. As a result, we've decided to terminate his employment. While it is the first complaint about his behavior in the over 20 years he's been at NBC News, we were also presented with reason to believe this may not have been an isolated incident. Now let me hone in on that piece of the statement, John. The New York Times, Variety, and other news outlets have been pursuing allegations of misconduct in Matt Lauer's past. These stories have been in the works for several weeks, and NBC management knew about that. So when this complaint came to HR on Monday night, with the backdrop of these damaging stories also in the works, the network made the choice to go ahead and fire him overnight.
All right, Brian Stelter with us. Brian, thank you very, very much. Joining me now, BJ Bernstein, former prosecutor, criminal defense attorney, and Bill Carter, CNN media analyst. BJ, first to you. Again, we do not know what this person says that Matt Lauer did, but we do know how NBC News responded and how quickly, apparently, they responded to this specific allegation. So what does that tell you about the severity of it, the likely severity of it?
It has to be serious for NBC to act so quickly. Now, as a corporate in this particular environment especially, but even before then, if there's something very serious, an allegation made, the corporate responsibility to all the employees and all the women who work there is crucial enough that they could have just made this decision because it may not be a criminal offense, it may be, we don't know exactly what the allegation is, but in this climate in particular, it is incumbent on every corporation to make sure that the workplace is safe for everyone. So the rapidness of the action could be because of that. It also could be because it's a very serious offense. Whether it's something that bleeds over into the criminal arena, we have absolutely no idea.
Bill, there's a line in the NBC News statement that jumps out. You know, it says it was the first complaint we've received about Matt Lauer's behavior in the over 20 years he's been at NBC. That's notable. But it also says we were also presented with reason to believe this may not have been an isolated incident.
Well, clearly the New York Times and Variety have been working on this for a period of time. They've been in contact undoubtedly with NBC. They've undoubtedly brought this up, and it was being, I think, looked at by NBC. And now a new charge comes, and I think it has to be a very serious one. You also have to speculate that Lauer may not have actually contradicted it in some way because they acted so swiftly. You know, if he said this is an absolute lie, you wouldn't have expected them to terminate him immediately. So the severity of this must have really struck home, and NBC had to react.
And look, remember, he was hosting the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade for NBC
on Thursday.
Yes. On Thursday, a big, high-profile moment, so something must have happened between then and now. You know, we get all caught up in the TV aspect of this. With Matt Lauer, it's easy because obviously he's at the pinnacle of the business.
Yes.
You know, the preeminent morning news anchor, you know, maybe on the male side ever.
Maybe ever, yes.
Ever.
Yeah.
That has a societal impact as well. When it is someone with the stature of Matt Lauer, it means something. It means something more than just about TV.
It means something. I got to tell you, I grew up being a Today Show girl in South Carolina. Growing up, we watched it. I always have watched Matt Lauer. We've always admired him. And so to have him be at the center of all this. It's quite an impact on everybody, and a reminder that how seriously we're taking this tide of sexual harassment in the workplace.
That's what I mean. Really, what I mean here, it's that more women really do seem to feel empowered to come forward with these stories, no matter who they may be about at this point.
My phone is ringing with people telling me things as a lawyer, whether it's actionable or not. They're calling saying, this has happened to me. I've shared with you before on air, you know, what happened with me and a judge when I was very young. Anita Hill was excoriated when she stepped forward and said what she did about Justice Thomas. And now we're seeing a change and a shift where women are feeling comfortable and protected and coming and telling the truth about what happened to them. And that the corporate structure is realizing we have to listen to them and act on those complaints and protect people.
Bill?
It's a new age.
Well, I think you also have to say that's a great thing that people are able to do that. It's also reaching so widely, and I give the media credit because the media seems to be reacting. Politics doesn't seem to be reacting.
Why?
Well, I think they don't feel they're accountable. I mean, I think the media feels accountable. I mean, NBC is announcing they're going to be transparent about this. They're a news organization. They can't run away from this. They can't run for Senate and say this isn't true. They have to step up and say, we're going to deal with this. We can't ignore it. And the women are coming forward. Their credibility is now not being questioned as it was in the past, because I think everybody is out there saying, look, this is a widespread condition among powerful men.
And yet, but you have the President of the United States questioning the accusers of Roy Moore.
Yes.
You know, a woman says she was molested by Roy Moore when she was 14 in Alabama. You have the President of the United States questioning his own accusers, some 13 women. It just seems like there's this dichotomy here, BJ, where you have people being fired, you have people being run out of their businesses, yet you have the President of the United States who has been accused of, in some cases, similar activity.
And that's another dichotomy. It's like that's happening is in the workplace we're reacting, in politics, and you know you start with politics and the concern that they're protecting themselves and not serving us. But I think that the women of this country, we all vote. We are all, you know, connecting in ways we've never had. And for those politicians who aren't listening and aren't paying attention, they may reconsider quickly when the ballot box speaks again.
There was an election last November after accusations made. There's an election in 2 weeks in Alabama, and very possible Roy Moore still wins, so we will see. BJ, Bill, thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it.